It's time to spill the tea. Hello!
You there, and welcome to A Spoonful of Theatre.
And this is another Spill the Tea Theatre Review podcast, where we review a local piece of Singapore theatre right outside the theatre. I'm TJ, theatre practitioner and director.
And I'm Sam, a teacher of language, literature, and self-proclaimed show business lovey. And, well, where are we, TJ?
We're at the Esplanade,
the beautiful,
famous durians.
Yes, the beautiful Esplanade. And what did we see?
We have just watched the first of our shows that we're catching of this year's Singapore Fringe Festival. And we caught A Lesbian Love Story, the musical.
Yes, A Lesbian Love Story. And, so let's go straight into it. What were our first thoughts?
I had a great time in the theatre. It was exactly what I want Fringe to be, and especially a Fringe musical. It was a bit camp. It was very fun. It didn't take itself too seriously.
No.
Did it change the world of musical theatre? No. But there were some really solid performances by a local cast. And what else do we want at a Singapore Fringe Festival? Honestly, I had a great time. What about you?
For me, it was Fringe with a capital F. It just embodied what a piece of fringe theatre, put my teeth in, a piece of fringe theatre, it embodied what a piece of fringe theatre should be. It was hilariously funny, and the cast did such a good job. You could tell the cast were enjoying themselves. The story, I think I've got some points and notes on the story, but it really, really was a lovely performance this afternoon.
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. Where would you like to begin?
Should we start with the story?
Yes, okay, all right. So, I would say this is a story of two parts. Okay. And the way that it joins those two parts together is that it's some friends that have an idea to make a musical. And when that was taking place, I thought to myself, well, that story's been done before. It made me think of Why Am I So Single by the Six Creatives,
yes.
Which we had thoughts about when we saw it in London 2 Christmases ago. But it also made me think of title of show, that meta aspect,
yes.
of creating a show. So with that, I thought to myself, well, that's been done before. But that doesn't take away the fact that it was telling a story that I don't think regularly gets told, and that is queer women's stories.
Yes.
You know, in this day and age, we tend to see a lot of queer male-centric stories. Like, for example, you've got that heated rivalry that everyone's going on about. I've not seen it. I won't watch it. No, not my kind of thing. But it's only every now and again that you get a queer female-centric story. And I really appreciated that aspect. Now, because of that, I couldn't relate to it so much. There's not a lot I could relate to in terms of queer female relationships, but that doesn't mean I didn't appreciate it, because I did. I thoroughly appreciated it.
That's probably what the lesbians feel when it's a gay-centered
yes,
story.
Yes, quite true. What did you think of the story?
For me, I really like that. I've seen, for me, Title of Show is one of my favorite Fringe-style musicals. I love the kind of meta aspects. I feel for me, some of the meta just didn't quite gel when it came together. I didn't quite know when we were in the real life bit and when we were in the show bit, and it wasn't quite set up early enough that exactly what was happening. So it took me a few scenes to kind of get on board with that, and I think that's probably some tweaks when they go back to editing, just to make that a bit clearer for the audience. Also, I felt that but some of the stories, like you say, I think it's really important to tell those lesbian love stories on stage as well. And one interesting thing for me is the entire show did talk about a very positive framing of it. Like, the lead character wanted a positive lesbian love story on the stage. And without going into too much, it didn't always follow that narrative.
Right.
And I don't know if that was the point, but also I thought the point was to have a positive lesbian story. So some of the messages did conflict with me a little bit within the storytelling. And then for me, I also just felt the last 15 minutes weren't as pizzazzy as the first kind of 45 that I enjoyed. I feel like it lost a little bit of steam, and because some of the numbers in the opening and the kind of first half, absolutely loved. That leads into a nice segue about the music. What did you think to the music, Sam?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoy the music. This is something that you talk about a lot, that a good musical, it tells the story through song. And I think that some of those songs really added to the story. But one that I really enjoyed was the online dating app story.
Yes.
That was so well done. I think that is, if anybody's done online dating, I think whether you're straight, gay, lesbian, you could all relate to what that was like. It was so well done. And vocally, I think everybody did very well.
Yeah.
I think everybody suited their song, so to
Totally.
say. What did you think?
Exactly the same. I thought the songs were really fun. It's exactly what you need in this sort of meta musical. There were a few moments that I felt like just needed a few tweaks or rewrites here and there, but nothing major. I think every song earned its place. There was a lot of changing of situation, and I thought sometimes it was very abrupt or not clear enough. So that for me was just a few tweaks to the songs, but I think through redevelopment, which all these musicals always go through when we're looking at Fringe, I'm sure that'll come with time. So.
What about the musical direction with our lovely friend Jane Fu?
Oh, Jane, we love her.
Absolutely.
You know what? It just shows a piano and a drum kit can do just as much as an orchestra. You know, it didn't need to be a full sound. It absolutely served its purpose, and Jane was doing a lot. There was a lot of extra tracks and sounds that kind of filled it out a little bit. So I really enjoyed that part of it as well. So well done, Jane.
What about production, set, props, costume, that kind of thing?
For me, I thought that the simplicity of it worked, which is exactly what you want in a black box theatre musical. There was actually a little bit more than I expected, to be honest, as well. There were some nice surprises. We won't spoil that for you. But I think there was a couple of things for me with the set changes and kind of scene changes where I would have just wanted it speeding up a little bit. There was a few pauses, just in terms of the pacing of the show, quickening up some of those transitions, maybe even some more of the set pieces that kept getting brought on, being on stage more and making more of it, and it just being a part of the set rather than wheeling everything on every time. But it didn't ruin the show for me, and I think that's just things that as you develop, you know, every single show I've ever done, I would change something. What about you, darling?
Now, as we know, with any sort of Fringe show, is that they're always on a shoestring budget. And Singapore Fringe Festival, you know, if you've been keeping up to date with what's happening, that this year more so than ever. And you'll find that out in our next long form episode, so stay tuned for that. But what I really liked that is, despite being on a shoestring budget, there was real attention to detail in the simplicity of the set. And that was particularly pronounced in the prop work. You could see there was a lot of care and a lot of detail in the props that were chosen and how they were used, and I really appreciated that because it elevated it towards full-blown stage musical rather than just a Fringe musical, and I really appreciated that. Now, something that I did pick up on as well, because again, noticing that this is a Fringe show, is that word on the street is, because we have our sources among a spoonful of theatre, is that this show does have aspirations to go internationally, such as at Edinburgh. I really hope it does. It is so worthy to go internationally and go to Edinburgh. I do have one little note though, one little niggle, is that it was very obvious frequently through the show, I won't say all throughout the show, but frequently through the show, there were a lot of local Singaporean references and a lot of, I would say, Singaporean in-jokes. One in particular is that the representation of a typical Singaporean straight bro is called Jaden. Got a big laugh and can absolutely see why. The thought came to my mind is, would that translate to an international audience that perhaps haven't spent time in Singapore or know that modern cultural aspect of Singapore? So that's something for the writers and the directors to think about, is that will an international audience get that joke? However, what I would say, and we saw this recently with Congratulations Get Rich, is that being explicit to an audience and patronizing an audience because it's because the writings happened in more than one place. There's probably a very fine line about that. Anyway, what did you think about that?
So for me, I don't think it was Singaporean enough, and I don't think it was international enough. I feel like over the process, it's got a bit muddled up.
Yes,
a few
yes.
examples of that is the story about them getting married.
We
can't get married in Singapore
that's right.
as queer people, and it wasn't quite explained. If it was written for Singapore, I feel like that struggle might have just reared its head in a line or two, and it didn't. And a couple of other little references, like for example a U-Haul truck that's very American. We don't have U-Haul trucks here. Nobody would. That goes
Never
over your
heard
head.
of them before.
Exactly. So even just changing that to moving truck made it more generic.
Yes.
So little things like that. But I do believe that taking it around the world. If it is going to be a Singaporean show, make it a Singaporean show and tell the world it's a Singaporean show, but not quite in the way that Congratulations Get Rich did. But I think really sticking true to the place, or if it's one of those shows that you're allowed to change the place, make sure you're really clear with the references throughout the show. Which is great. I love it when that happens, because I mean the amount of musicals that we have to just live with American references because it was made in America and we don't relate to that. I think it's okay to be unapologetically wherever you're from and wherever the musical is made. But I think because this one has been workshopped in multiple places, it's maybe found a few new extras as it's gone to those places as well.
Fair enough.
The cast.
We have to talk about them. What a great team.
Really,
they were marvellous.
Truly ensemble theatre.
Yes,
like
they
the
really
four
were.
of them swapping characters, changing characters, but all solid in every single one of them. Like they were four just really strong performances.
Yes.
Some lovely character work throughout. Nat did a great job holding the show together. She only must have left the stage for about 10 seconds.
Oh, she worked hard.
If she left the stage at all, I wasn't paying attention to I think she did go off. But I think the supporting characters with Coco and with Mitchell really, really energetic and great kind of fun to the show. But I know that we both have the same favourite standout.
Oh, yes.
Okay, go on, Sammy.
Mel. Mel absolutely stole the show. Whatever character she was portraying, because she portrayed about 20 or 25, even if it was just for like 5 seconds, she put herself into that character, and she was brilliant. She did such excellent work on that stage today. Well done, Mel. And also I do want to mention Mitchell as well. Mitchell has such a lovely tone and timbre to his voice that when he speaks, you really listen.
Yes.
I really enjoyed any time Mitchell was on that stage, and that was another aspect of the story that I liked, is that he played the best friend really well. And whether that is a queer friendship or any friendship, a human friendship, he played that best friend really well. So well done, Mitchell. I really enjoyed that.
And I also feel like it's really easy to go into stereotypes in this sort of show and make things a bit too obvious.
Yes.
And I think within the characterizations, they didn't do that.
No.
I think some of the writing might have gone that way, but I think on purpose at times, but also sometimes maybe was a bit obvious. But I think the way that all the casts delivered the show definitely had a lot of depth and richness and excitement.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, as you know by now, when TJ and I go and see a piece of theatre, we always give it a spoonful rating out of 5. But TJ and I never reveal how many spoonfuls we are going to give until the moment has come, and that moment is now. TJ, are you ready?
I'm ready.
On the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, 4. Yay! Okay, we are the same. It's a nice high rating as well. So TJ, why 4 spoonfuls for you?
Really a great new piece of work that I'm really putting this in a fringe context. I think in a fringe context it was a really great attempt, really, really nice performances. I think that's what took it up for me. Definitely some things to do with the writing and kind of just speeding it up and things, but that is what fringe is all about. It's about workshopping new pieces of work. So I had a great time, and kudos to every single person involved. Well done.
I completely agree with you. It was fringe to its core, and I really loved it for that. And I was laughing out loud throughout the show. And as you all know by now, the key to my heart is my funny bone. And it was really, really funny in places. I thought the performances were really tight, really consistent. But I agree with you. Some of the story could be tightened. Some of the story could be refined. That makes it a little bit more innovative, but that's not to take away from the marvellous time I've had in the theatre this afternoon.
Absolutely. So the Singapore Fringe Festival is coming to you until the 25th of January.
Yes.
So go and check out all the other amazing productions. Unfortunately, this musical closes tonight and it is sold out. So, but catch it next time because I'm sure it will be back around,
surely.
or hopefully going to an international festival as
Yes.
well. There are many amazing workshops and events coming your way, and it is a festival that has been brought from the ground up and supported by the community.
Yes.
So the community needs to support it. So head onto the website and make sure you go down and support all of the amazing things coming up.
Now, my tea's on cold love. Shall we leave it there? Let's cheerio from us. We'll be back soon.
And a hurrah from me.
And to the cast and crew of A Lesbian Love Story.
And to anyone else performing in Singapore theatre,
Break a leg.